A bird with a message. Dolly Bantry froze first. "Jane, look there." The lich gate loomed ahead. On the beam sat a raven, large, still, watching. Marple's eyes narrowed. The bird's feathers shone dark, its head tilted, as if aware. It croaked once. The sound carried. Dolly flinched. "Unpleasant creature." She waved her hand. The raven did not move. It simply stared back. Then, sudden, the bird spread its wings. One loud beat, then another. It rose above the church roof. Gone. Dolly sighed. Ugly sight for a morning. Marple said nothing. Her gaze dropped lower, to the bench below the gate. There it lay. An envelope, cream paper, black edging, placed deliberately in the middle. Marple's breath caught. "Dolly, do you see?" Dolly frowned. "Someone's dropped a letter." Marple shook her head slowly. Number, this was left. They approached together. The envelope untouched. Marple noted its weight. Her eyes traced the flap. Not sealed. She opened it. One sheet inside. Typed words. No greeting. No explanation. Only a list of names. She read them aloud. Miss Trent, Mr. Fielding, Mrs. Priest, Ephraim Potley, Tilda Briggs. Dolly gasped. "But those are all from the village." Marple nodded grimly. "Ordinary names, yet chosen. Footsteps behind them." Inspector Slack approached, called by someone from the vestry, his face skeptical as always. "What's this, then?" Marple handed him the sheet. He scanned it. A snort. Childish nonsense. A prank. Nothing more. Dolly bristled. A raven delivered it. Slack raised an eyebrow. "A bird carrying letters? Don't be absurd." He folded the paper. Likely some boy playing games. Marple's gaze returned to the gate. Her eyes caught faint smears on the wood. Greasy, faintly marked. But she said nothing yet. Slack pocketed the envelope. "I'll ask about it later. Don't fret." Dolly frowned. "Not fret? My maid's name is here." Slack shrugged. A coincidence. Marple's lips pressed tight. Coincidence never satisfied her. Her thoughts ran through the names. A schoolmistress, an invalid, a postmistress, a verger, a servant. No clear link. But someone wanted them connected. Dolly whispered again. "What kind of joke is this?" Marple's eyes softened. She looked at her friend. No joke, no child's game. Her gaze lingered on the envelope. The ink precise, the black border deliberate. Someone meant this to be found. Someone timed it. Someone fed the fear. Slack walked back toward the vestry, still shaking his head, still unconcerned. But Marple stayed still, her mind turning, her chest heavy. She thought of the 5 names, ordinary lives, quiet villagers, now dragged into shadow. She thought of how fear spreads, so quickly, so easily. Her voice low. Not a prank. Her eyes dark. Her tone certain. "A warning. 5 names. Why these?" Potley was the first to speak. His voice shook. "My name is there. Mine. On the list." His hands trembled as he clutched his cap, his face pale. Dolly tried to calm him. "Ephraim, it's nonsense. Just a silly trick." But he shook his head. "No trick, my lady. Someone wants me gone." His eyes darted toward the lich gate. Mrs. Priest appeared next. She had hurried from the post office. Word travelled fast in the village. Her lips pinched tight. Her hands clutched her shawl. "You've seen it? My name too. Clear as day." She looked at Marple. "Why us? Why those 5? Slack waved his hand. "Enough. No need for hysteria." But Mrs. Priest pressed forward. "Accidents happen, Inspector. Fires, gas, poison. You know they do." Her voice cracked. "Is this a curse?" Slack scoffed. "A curse? Utter nonsense." He turned to Marple. "You don't believe that either, do you?" Marple didn't answer. Her eyes were on Potley. The verger had sunk onto the bench, head bowed, whispering a prayer. Dolly tried to lighten the mood. "Well, If we're all marked for death, I suppose I shall lock Tilda in the attic. At least she'll be safe there. Her tone forced, her laugh thin. No one smiled. Marple moved closer to the gatepost, her eyes sharp. Her gloved hand brushed the wood. It came back faintly smeared. She rubbed her fingers together. A trace of grease, soft, oily, distinct. She sniffed gently. "Suet," she said quietly. Dolly blinked. "Bird food." Marple nodded once. "Yes. Used to keep a bird in place. Not natural." Her voice low. Measured. "Someone prepared this." Slack frowned. "You mean the raven? What of it?" Marple looked at him. "Someone wanted the raven to stay here, at this post, at this hour." Her eyes went back to the gate. "Which means someone planned every part of this." Potley groaned. "Then it's no prank. It's death, Inspector. Death coming for us one by one." Slack snapped back. "Enough of that, man. Go ring your bells and stop fretting." But Slack's voice had lost its force. He looked uneasy. His notebook closed without a word. Mrs. Priest wrung her hands tighter. "If Miss Trent is first, oh God, she lives alone. What if—" She stopped herself, eyes wide with sudden fear. Marple said nothing. Her gaze swept the gravel. Every detail mattered. Her eyes caught movement. Something small drifted down. It landed by her shoe. She bent slowly, picked it up. A feather, long, black, glossy. She held it to the light. It glimmered strangely. Not natural. Coated, shining with oil. Her lips pressed thin. Her mind turned. Fear was already spreading, faster than truth, and someone was feeding it. She held the feather still, her voice calm, her eyes unsettled. "This," she said softly, "is not chance. The first on the list." Word spread quickly. Miss Trent had been found, her cottage door unlocked, her body lying near the stove. Mrs. Ashworth had entered first. She had come for library books. Instead, she screamed and fetched help. Within minutes, villagers crowded outside. Dr. Haydock arrived, his face stern. He bent over the body. "Gas," he said, "overcome by fumes." The oven left open. Slack took notes. "An accident, then. A simple mistake." He looked relieved. Too quick. Too eager to close the case. Marple stood back, her eyes sharp. She moved slowly about the room. Each detail mattered. She noticed the kettle first. It sat full, water brimming to the top. She frowned. "Odd," she whispered. Miss Trent lived alone. She never boiled more than 1 cup. Economy was her rule. This kettle could fill 6. Dolly shivered. Perhaps she was distracted. Marple said nothing. Her hand brushed a towel. It hung on the rail, lengthwise, straight. She stared, then shook her head. "Number, not hers." Dolly blinked. "What do you mean?" Miss Trent, folded corner to corner. "Always." Marple's tone quiet, firm. "She showed me once, said it looked tidy." Slack sighed. Small habits, hardly evidence. But Marple kept watching. Her eyes scanned the room. They stopped at the cage. A budgerigar chirped inside. Bright, lively, its tiny chest rising fast. But alive, very much alive. Marple's lips pressed. If the room was full of gas, the bird would be dead. Slack frowned. "You suggest the gas was recent?" Marple nodded once. "Released after. Not before." Dr. Haydock looked thoughtful. "Yes, that explains the timing. The poor woman was gone before the room was filled." Dolly shuddered. "Then it wasn't an accident." Her voice low, shaken. Marple moved to the gas tap. She bent closer, her eyes narrow. She saw faint marks around the brass, thin, circular, as if something had been tied, pulled, removed. She looked at Slack. See, a cord was used. The gas turned without her hand. Slack's jaw tightened. "Are you saying—" Marple interrupted softly. "Yes. Someone arranged this, to look natural." The room fell silent. Only the faint chirp of the bird. Dolly clasped her hands. Tears welled. Poor Miss Trent, always so precise, always so kind. Marple looked at the still figure, her heart heavy. Miss Trent had lived with order, her life plain but steady, no despair, no reason for carelessness. She turned to Slack, her voice even, her words cutting. This was murder. A card at the vicarage. It was morning again. Reverend Clement found it first. He bent to pick it up. A black-edged card, slipped under the vicarage door. He opened it slowly. Only one line written. Regret for Miss Trent. His wife gasped. Who would dare send this? Her hands shook, her face pale. The Reverend frowned. No signature, no mark. He looked again. Plain card, black edge, heavy paper, cold words. Mrs. Clement clutched her husband's sleeve. It feels wicked, like mockery. Dolly Bantry had just entered. She saw the card. Her eyes widened. Good heavens, another letter. Clement sighed. Yes, not a list this time, a condolence, for Miss Trent. Marple stepped forward. She took the card. Her eyes scanned carefully. No handwriting, no ink strokes. Typewritten. Exact. Sharp. Same machine as before. Slack arrived minutes later. The Reverend handed him the card. Slack read it. A short laugh followed. Pranksters again. Children. Nothing more. Dolly frowned. Inspector, this is cruel. Miss Trent only buried yesterday. Slack shrugged. Children are cruel. They'll tire soon. Marple shook her head. Number, not children. Too precise, too deliberate. Her tone soft, measured, certain. Slack folded the card. I'll keep it anyway, for record. But I stand by it. Mischief. He slipped it in his pocket, dismissive. Potley, the verger, arrived breathless. They're saying in the village the raven carries death. That's what folk whisper. His voice trembled. His hands shook. Slack scowled. Superstitious nonsense. Stop spreading it. But his own eyes flickered uneasy. Marple turned to the Reverend. Did you hear anything last night? A sound at the door? He shook his head. Nothing. It was placed quietly. We found it only this morning. Mrs. Priest entered next. She had hurried from the post office, her words fast. They're talking already. That list was true. Miss Trent was first. Now a card arrives. Who is next? Marple watched her, her mind turning. The card too exact, the timing too sharp. Not grief, not sympathy. A taunt. Dolly tried again to joke. Perhaps we should all carry umbrellas. Keep death off our shoulders. Her laugh thin, forced. No one responded. Marple placed the card on the table. Her fingers lingered. She spoke softly. Someone wants us to see these things. Someone is feeding fear. Her eyes darkened, her voice almost tender. It is not a prank. It is a message. And each message strikes closer. The room fell silent. Mrs. Clement whispered a prayer. Potley stared at the floor. Mrs. Priest clutched her shawl. Dolly leaned close to Marple, her voice low, her breath unsteady. If one name is gone, who is next? Typewriter clue. Slack led the way. Marple walked beside him. They entered Holt's ironmongery. The smell of oil and seed hung faint. Digby Holt smiled wide. Inspector, Miss Marple, what brings you here? His tone bright. Too bright. Slack wasted no time. We're checking typewriters. May we see yours? Holt laughed easily. Of course. Nothing secret about it. He stepped behind the counter. There it stood. An old Remington. Keys worn. Ribbon dark. Marple leaned forward, her eyes sharp. She tapped a key. The letter R rose higher than the car. Rest. Another key struck faint. The O weak. She exchanged a glance with Slack. Same marks as the envelopes. The match was clear. Slack wrote notes. Old machine. Fits our sample. Holt shrugged. It's been used by half the village. Mrs. Priest types here when her own fails. Young Billy, too. Even the Reverend asks me at times. hardly private. Marple studied his face, cheerful, smooth, but his eyes restless, hands never still. On the counter lay open sacks, bird seed bright, mixed grains dyed red and yellow. Beside them small tins, glue bottles lined neatly, one labeled fish glue. Marple touched the tin lightly, her voice calm. "You sell this often?" Holt nodded. "Popular with model makers. Strong bond. Better than gum." He said it easily. Too easily. Slack asked next. "And the bird?" "The raven outside." "Yours?" Holt chuckled. "Not mine, though he comes when I call." He drew a silver whistle from his pocket. One quick trill. From the eaves above, wings rustled. The raven swooped down. It landed on the shop sign, calm, expectant. Its beak opened in a low croak. Holt grinned. "See? King Jack, the village mascot." He tossed seed on the crossbar. The raven pecked quickly, then hopped closer, bold. Dolly, who had joined them, stepped back. "Ugly thing, I'd not have it near my house." Holt only smiled. "He's tame enough. A trick bird, really. Routine. Feed. Call. Reward. That's all." Marple's eyes lingered, not at the bird, at Holt's whistle. Polished silver, hung on a chain. Used often. Always ready. Slack closed his notebook. "We'll note your machine. Don't leave the parish without telling us." Holt laughed again. "Leave? Nonsense. I've customers to serve." Marple's gaze drifted back to the counter. Glue, birdseed, whistle. Each piece simple, but together, troubling. She thought of the list, the envelopes, the bird always on time, not chance, pattern, performance, her voice soft. "Precision is never accident." Dolly looked at her sharply. "What do you mean?" Marple didn't answer. Her thoughts stayed inward. Fear had props, and someone was staging every moment. The shop door creaked. A boy stepped in. Billy Crowther. He held a black feather in his hand. He stroked it slowly, his eyes downcast. Billy, under suspicion. The whispers began in the village. People spoke in corners, low voices, uneasy looks. The boy knows the bird. He feeds it. He calls it down. By afternoon, the talk reached Slack. He moved quickly, straight to the boy. Marple followed close. Billy stood outside Holt's shop. He held the feather still. His eyes avoided theirs. Slack barked first. "Where did you get that?" Billy swallowed. "Found it near the gate." His voice thin, uneasy. Slack's eyes narrowed. "Don't lie. You've been seen with the raven. You've been heard whistling." Billy shifted his feet, hands tight. "No, sir. I only did what Mr. Holt showed me." Marple spoke gently. "What did he show you, Billy?" The boy hesitated. "Food on the post. A whistle call. He said the bird was clever." His head dropped. "I thought it a trick. I didn't mean no harm." Slack pressed harder. "So you trained it. You sent the letters." Billy shook his head fast. "No, I never touched those letters. I only liked the bird. That's all." His voice cracked, fear in his eyes. Villagers began to gather, murmurs rising again. A wicked boy, just like his father. Should have known. Marple raised a hand. "Enough. He is only a child." But Slack kept at him. "Tell me, Billy, did Holt give you envelopes? Did you help him?" The boy shook again. "No envelopes, no letters, just seed, just the whistle." Marple noted each word. The boy's fear real, his answers quick. No guile, but suspicion had already grown, the roots. And gossip was strong fuel. Billy clutched the feather tighter. He stared at the ground. "I liked the bird. It listened. No one else does." His voice barely a whisper. The crowd shifted uneasily. Even Dolly's face softened. Marple's thoughts deepened. False trails clouded truth. And innocence was the easiest to blame. Fear always looked for the weakest. Slack stepped back at last. "We'll see. If more letters come, we'll know who to thank." Billy's lip trembled, his shoulders slumped. He looked smaller than ever. Then a sudden sound, a rush of wings. The raven landed hard at the lich gate. Its claws gripped the beam. It croaked loud, eyes black and sharp. The villagers gasped. Slack turned instantly, Marple's gaze fixed on the post. Something waited there. Not just the bird. Potley raised a shaking hand. His voice cracked. "The envelope! Another one!" One name removed. The envelope lay on the post, black-edged again. The raven flapped off as if satisfied. Slack snatched it first. He tore it open. One sheet inside. The same typing. The same machine marks. He read aloud. Fielding. Mrs. Priest. Potley. Tilda Briggs. The crowd gasped. Dolly pressed her hand to her chest. Marple's eyes narrowed. Miss Trent's name was gone. Exactly as the villagers feared. First the list, then her death, now the name erased. Pottle staggered back, his face drained white. "I told you. I'm next. Mark me. I'm next." His voice shook, his knees nearly buckled. Mrs. Priest clutched her shawl. Her lips trembled. "Why me? What have I done?" Her words spilled fast. Her eyes darted from face to face, seeking comfort, finding none. Slack tried for authority. "Calm down, all of you. It proves nothing." But his voice carried no weight. His eyes betrayed unease. Marple stepped forward. She touched the post. Her fingers moved carefully along the wood. She paused. Her eyes caught faint impressions. 2 tiny punctures, round, sharp, tack holes, low on the beam, fresh. Her hand shifted again. A thin smear clung to the grain. She lifted it slowly. Her fingers rubbed. "Sticky, soft, wax," she spoke gently. "Not left by the bird, not carried here. Someone pinned it in place, then smeared wax to hold," Dolly whispered. "Then the raven is just theatre." Marple nodded once. "Yes, a performance, someone's stage." Slack scowled. "You can't prove that yet." But his eyes flicked to Holt's shop. He knew. The signs pointed clearer with each step. Potley clutched his hat tighter. His body shook. "I won't sleep in the church tonight. I won't. Not with death after me." The villagers murmured again. Fear rolling like smoke. Names repeated. 4 left, 4 to fall. Marple looked at the sheet again. Her heart heavy. Each name ordinary. Each life small. But someone had set them in order, one after another. She laid the paper flat. Her fingers steady. Her thoughts deep. The bird a trick. The list the real weapon. Fear delivered on paper. Mrs. Priest suddenly spoke, her voice shrill, her words breaking out. "You don't understand. Miss Trent was writing about Nurse Ferris. She said she had proof. She said she would send it. And now she's gone." The crowd froze. Eyes wide, mouths open, her words hung heavy. A nurse with secrets. Marple called at Fielding's house. Dolly came with her. Inspector Slack followed, less patient. Nurse Ferris opened the door, her expression stiff, her lips tight. "What is it now?" Marple's voice calm. "We came about Miss Trent." Ferris frowned. "Why drag me into that? I have no time for idle talk." Slack cut in. "We know Miss Trent was writing to Street Luke's. She named you. What was in that letter?" Ferris's face twitched. "I know nothing about it. Probably gossip. That old woman loved to meddle." Dolly leaned forward. "She wasn't old, and she wasn't careless." Her voice sharp. Ferris bristled. "You think I killed her? I'm a nurse. I heal. I don't harm." Her tone rose. Defensive. From the back room came a weak voice. "Mr. Fielding." "Who's there? What's happening?" His voice trembled, strained. Ferris turned quickly. "Nothing, sir. Just busybodies from the village." She shut the door behind her. She faced them again. "Leave him out of this. He's ill. Very ill." Marple studied her face. Pale, guarded. Not grief, not patience. Something else. Marple asked softly. You worked at Street Luke's before? Ferris's eyes narrowed. Yes, years ago. What of it? Her voice clipped. Miss Trent remembered you, Marple said. She was preparing to write again. Why would she? Ferris's lips pressed thin. Because she liked to spread tales. You know how villagers are. She folded her arms. Ignore it. She had a spiteful streak. She wanted to ruin me. Slack stepped in. Ruin you for what? Tell me plain. Ferris glared. I won't answer more. I have a patient to tend. Good day. She moved as if to shut the door. But Marple held her ground. Her eyes sharp. Her voice steady. Truth will come out, nurse. Secrets always do. Ferris's face tightened. She gave no reply, only silence. From inside came Fielding's cough, weak, hollow, his voice faint. Jane Trent was kind to me. Why did she not come yesterday? Ferris turned, flustered. She is gone, sir. Please rest. She hurried back. Slack muttered low. Shifty woman. Hides more than she shows. Dolly agreed. She's frightened. Not of us. Of something else. Marple stepped further into the room. Her eyes scanned surfaces. Orderly, too tidy, yet one detail caught her. On the desk by the window, a small bottle, plain glass, label clear, fish glue. Her hand hovered above it. Her eyes darkened. Her thoughts sharpened. She knew the same label from Holt's shop. Her lips pressed, her voice quiet. To fix envelopes. To seal deceit. The sight weighed heavy. Each clue another knot. Each knot pulling tighter, she whispered. Nothing here is harmless. Fielding collapses. It happened in the afternoon. The nurse had given him tea. Only a small cup. His hands shook as he drank. He swallowed slow. Minutes later, his chest tightened. He gasped. The cup slipped from his grasp. Tea spilled down the blanket. He fell back, face pale. Ferris cried out, Mr. Fielding, speak to me. Her hands fluttered at his chest. She shouted for help. The maid ran for Dr. Haydock. Dolly, passing by, hurried in. Marple followed behind. Fielding's breathing ragged, his lips bluish, his pulse faint. Dr. Haydock came fast, his bag in hand. He bent close, stethoscope pressed, his brow furrowed. Digitalis, he muttered. Too much, far too much. He looked at Ferris sharply. How many drops? Ferris's face strained. I gave the proper measure. I swear it. Not one more. Her hands trembled. Her voice cracked. Haydock shook his head. This dose was heavy. It was no accident. Fielding stirred faintly. His eyes opened weak. His lips moved. Marple bent close. He whispered hoarsely, Black wings, over me. Then he sank back, eyes shut again. Ferris clutched her apron. He was confused, fevered. He sees things. Please, believe me. Her words spilled fast, too fast. Slack entered, drawn by noise. He looked from Haydock to Ferris. Well? Haydock straightened. Poison. Digitalis. In overdose. He folded his arms. This man nearly died. Slack's jaw tightened. His eyes locked on Ferris. You were responsible. Ferris stammered. I measured it right. I swear on my oath. Someone tampered. Someone must have. Dolly whispered to Marple. Jane, do you believe her? Marple's gaze stayed fixed, her face unreadable. She knows more than she tells. Slack questioned further. Who else touched the bottle? Ferris shook her head. No one. Only me. Always me. Haydock's tone sharp. The poison was poured. Not spilled. Someone made sure it would strike. Fielding groaned again, weak but alive. Haydock gave him antidote treatment. Drops steady, hands firm. The tension filled the room. No one spoke for long moments, only Fielding's shallow breaths. Ferris stood rigid, eyes wide, hands clenched. She repeated once more, I did nothing wrong. I followed every rule. Marple watched her closely. The words rang hollow, the fear in her eyes deeper. Not only fear of blame, fear of exposure. Dolly touched Marple's arm. Poor man. He suffers, and still they play games. Marple's lips pressed thin. Her mind drew lines. Poison now. Gas before. The list carried truth, and someone was cutting through names with method. Dr. Haydock broke the silence, his voice low but steady. Not accident. Deliberate. Another card. The vicarage door creaked at dawn. Mrs. Clement bent to sweep the step. Her hand touched stiff paper. She froze. Black edge again. Envelope sealed. No name outside. She carried it inside. The Reverend opened it. A single card. Words typed in neat rows. "Regret for Mr. Fielding," his wife gasped. Her hand rose to her mouth. Oh God, not again. By midday, the news spread. The villagers gathered in knots, fear rising in every corner. The list is real. They strike one by one. No one is safe. Potley hid near the church. Mrs. Priest wrung her hands. Tilda Briggs wept. Even children whispered. The ravens circled overhead. Dolly whispered to Marple, "It's a curse. Don't deny it. Death follows the bird." Her voice shook, her usual humor gone. Slack strode into the square, his jaw tight, his voice sharp. "Enough. This ends now. Cards don't kill. Birds don't curse. This is mischief. A cruel joke." But his words carried no weight. The crowd muttered louder. Eyes darted. Hands clutched tight. Marple stood apart. She studied the card. Her fingers traced the edge. Same paper, same typewriter, same hand behind each note. She said nothing. Not yet. Her mind gathered details, one by one. Not random, not careless. A pattern woven with care. The villagers pressed around Slack. "Do something. Arrest someone. Stop this before another dies." Slack snapped back. "I need facts, not gossip. I'll have order here." But even he looked strained. His hands clenched his notebook tighter. His eyes avoided Marple's. Dolly clung to Marple's sleeve. "Why Fielding? Why him next?" Marple answered softly. "Because his name remained. The list shortens. Always the list." The budgerigar cage from Trent's cottage lingered in Marple's thoughts, alive though gas filled the room. Not accident. Deliberate. And now poison in Fielding's cup. Again deliberate. She looked once more at the card. Black edge. Typed words. A ritual repeated. "Designed for fear," she whispered inwardly. Cards that spoke louder than knives. Fear heavier than poison. Every villager played by strings unseen. Dolly leaned closer. "What do you think?" Her voice low, hopeful for comfort. Marple's eyes darkened. Her lips pressed thin. She spoke quiet, measured, certain. Someone feeds on fear. Testing the bird, Marple stood by the lich gate, her hands steady. In her pocket, a whistle. Silver, borrowed from Holt. Slack and Dolly watched close. Potley lingered behind the yew. Mrs. Priest hovered near the path. Fear in every glance. Marple raised the whistle. One clear note. Sharp, quick. It cut through the quiet morning. Seconds passed. Then a rush of wings. The raven swooped low. It landed on the beam. Right on time. 10 o'clock, sharp. Potley gasped. "See? He knows. He answers the call." His voice shook. Slack grunted. Simple trick. Birds learn patterns. Marple did not answer. Instead, she placed an envelope on the bench. Plain paper. Blank inside. Beside it she scattered grain. A small pile. The raven tilted its head. It croaked once. It hopped down. Beak struck the grain. It pecked and swallowed. But it ignored the envelope. Not a glance. Not a touch. Dolly whispered. "So it isn't trained for letters." Marple nodded once. "Exactly." Slack frowned. "Then why does it always arrive when envelopes appear?" Marple spoke calm. "Because someone arranges it. The bird only comes for food. The letters are placed by human hands." Potley's eyes darted. Then who? Who dares do it? Fear trembled in his voice. Marple studied the raven. Its claws gripped wood, its feathers oily from suet. Every detail spoke of training, but only for feeding, only for show. She looked at Slack. Not the raven, not the boy. Someone else. Someone clever. Someone who enjoys theatre. Slack shifted uneasily. He glanced at Holt's shop down the lane, but he said nothing. Not yet. Dolly tugged Marple's sleeve. Jane, people are half mad with fear. Every card, every list. It spreads like sickness. Marple's voice softened. That is the plan. Fear is the weapon. The bird only the curtain. The raven croaked again. It fluttered up, a black arc against the sky. It vanished behind the rectory roof. The villagers drifted back, murmuring, still uneasy, but now uncertain. If not the bird, then who? Slack looked at Marple, his voice sharp. But if not the bird, and not the boy, then who plants the letters? Potley next? The note came at dusk, slipped through the vestry door. One line only. You are next. Potley found it first. His hands shook, his eyes wide with terror. He clutched the paper to his chest. He ran straight to the nave. He dropped to his knees by the altar. Whispered prayers tumbled out. His voice cracked, his fear plain. Dolly arrived soon after. Word had spread quick. She found him hunched in the pew. Ephraim, you mustn't lose yourself. Her voice gentle, but he trembled harder. I'm marked. You saw the list. My name is still there. Now, a note. They mean to finish me. His breath came shallow. His eyes darted. Every creak of wood made him flinch. Dolly tried to steady him. Perhaps it's more mischief. Nothing more. He shook his head violently. No mischief. Death walks the village. I hear it in the wings. I see it in the shadows. Marple entered quietly. Her eyes took in the scene. Potley crouched low. Dolly beside him. The note on the seat. She picked it up. Her eyes scanned the paper. Same typing. Same faint, misaligned R. Same weak O. Her lips pressed tight. She looked at Potley. Whoever writes these wants you broken before the act. Fear first, then the blow. Her tone calm, but her words weighed heavy. Potley moaned. I will not sleep. I will not leave this church. He pressed his face into his hands. Dolly stroked his arm. She whispered soothing words. They failed to reach him. Above, a harsh cry. The raven circled again. Its wings beat loud in the dusk. It swooped once across the yard, then perched on the roof beam, watching, waiting. Pottle pointed upward. See, it follows me. It knows. It waits for me. His fear grew louder. The villagers peered in through the doors. Their whispers rose again. Slack appeared then, his jaw tight. He barked, Get hold of yourself, man. No bird decides life and death. But even his voice lacked power. The sight of the raven unsettled all. Marple's eyes scanned the pews. She walked slowly between them, her steps careful, her gaze steady. She bent low by Potley's seat. Her fingers brushed the floorboard. Something scattered near the wood. Small, hard grains, round, yellow. She pinched them between her fingers, brought them into the light. Pigeon corn, exactly like the sacks at Holt's shop. She held them high, her voice quiet, measured. Fear is fed, not found. Someone leaves food here, to keep the bird near, to keep the fear alive. Potley looked up, broken. Dolly pressed her lips tight. Marple's gaze stayed fixed on the corn, her thoughts heavy. Fear had hands behind it, deliberate, calculated. The nurse unmasked. Marple sat with Dr. Haydock. The parish records lay on the table, letters, notes, and hospital replies stacked neatly. Haydock adjusted his glasses. He tapped one sheet. Here at Island Street, Luke's confirmed. Nurse Ruth Ferris. Dismissed. Cause, theft of drugs, digitalis, morphia, repeated offense. Dolly gasped. So Miss Trent was right. She remembered. That's why she had to die. Marple nodded slowly. Trent taught many children. She never forgot a face. She saw Ferris. She knew. Haydock leaned back. Ferris covered it well. Changed her name after dismissal. Found work here as if nothing happened. Marple's eyes sharpened. But secrets never stay buried. Trent wrote letters. She meant to warn. Her voice softened. She never got the chance. Slack entered then. Marple handed him the paper. He read it. His brows drew low. So she is a fraud, a thief, and more. Marple answered. Yes, and she had reason to silence Trent. But there is more still, Dolly asked. What reason? Marple's tone was quiet. Fielding. His estate is large. He has no heirs close. Ferris saw her chance. If she controlled him, she could claim influence. And when he died, she might take all through a forged will or a hidden claim. Haydock nodded grimly. That explains the overdose. If he died, suspicion would pass as illness, and she would inherit through trickery. Slack slammed the paper down. Greed, then. Always greed. I'll put her under guard. Marple stopped. Him. Not yet. Watch first. She has an ally. The letters, the envelopes, the bird it is staged. She cannot do that alone. Slack frowned. Ally? Who? Marple did not answer. Her gaze distant, her thoughts sharp. Dolly whispered to her. You think Holt? Marple's lips pressed thin. He provides glue. He owns the typewriter. He trains the bird. But proof is needed. They waited till night. The village streets quiet, clouds heavy. Few dared to walk after dark. Marple stood with Dolly near the square. Slack kept back, hidden in shadow. They watched Fielding's cottage, its light dim. Nurse Ferris stepped out at last, her cloak drawn tight. Her eyes darted both ways. She moved quickly, not toward the inn, not toward the vicarage, but toward Holt's shop. Her steps hurried. She paused at the door, glanced about, then slipped inside. The lock turned soft. Dolly gripped Marple's arm. You saw? She's in there. Marple's eyes narrowed, her voice low. Yes. The truth always seeks its partner, and partners always meet. Her heart weighed heavy. Trent had died for knowing too much. Fielding almost lost for the same. Fear spread for cover. But now, the mask was cracking. Only 2 names remain. The raven landed at the gate again. A fresh envelope lay beneath its claws. The villagers froze. No one dared step first. Slack pushed forward. He grabbed the letter. He tore it open. His eyes moved fast. Then he read aloud. Mrs. Priest, Tilda Briggs. Gasps spread through the group. Mrs. Priest clutched her chest. Tilda wept at once, her cries sharp. The crowd stirred uneasily. Dolly whispered to Marple. It shrinks each time. 1 gone, then another. Now only 2. Her voice low, her face pale. Marple's eyes stayed on the page. The same type, the same flaws, the same hand. The list narrowed like a noose. Slack raised his voice. This is no curse. This is trickery. I will find who plants these. His words bold, but his tone carried strain. Holt stepped forward from his shop. He smiled faintly. Well, Inspector, the bird seems busy again. Perhaps it enjoys its part. He laughed lightly, too lightly. Slack scowled. You think this is funny? Holt shrugged. Life needs humor, even fear. Marple's gaze shifted. Holt's hand rested in his pocket. Something glinted. Silver. Smooth. The whistle. Always near. Her eyes stayed there, silent, measuring. Dolly noticed her look. She leaned close. Jane, what do you see? Marple whispered. A man too ready. A tool too close. A story too smooth. At that moment, Billy crept near. He had been listening from the side. His hands clutched his cap, his eyes anxious. He spoke quickly. They blame me, but it was Holt. He showed me the calls. He taught me how to bring the bird. I only copied him, I swear. The crowd stirred again. Eyes turned. Murmurs rose. Holt's smile thinned. His hand gripped the whistle tighter. Slack barked, "Is that true, boy?" Billy nodded fiercely. "Yes," he whistled. The raven came. Always for him. Marple's heart weighed heavy. The false trail had served its purpose. Billy, young and weak, had been the shield. But now the truth edged closer. She looked at Holt, his face smooth still, but his eyes sharp, cold. "Ready." The raven croaked from above. The list fluttered in Slack's hand. 2 names left, 2 lives hanging. Marple's voice broke the silence. Soft, measured, certain. "Then Holt is no pawn. He is the stage master. Performance exposed." The villagers gathered in the square. Slack stood at the front, Marple beside him. Dolly close, her hand tight on her bag. Holt leaned on his counter, his face calm. Too calm. Slack barked, "Enough games. Marple, tell them." Marple stepped forward, her voice low, her tone steady. This was not chance, not curse. Holt trained the raven, not to carry letters, only to stay at the gate, to circle on command. A whistle brought it. Food kept it. Fear did the rest. The crowd gasped. Holt's smile stayed fixed, but his eyes narrowed. Marple continued. The envelopes were planted. Wax held them. Pins fixed them. Holt's typewriter struck the words. Raised R, weak O. Always the same. He sold glue. He sold seed. He made every piece. Dolly shivered. And the deaths? Marple's gaze shifted. To Ferris. She worked with him. She silenced Miss Trent. She poured the poison for Fielding. She covered each act with her nurse's mask. Together they played a cruel theatre. Letters for terror. Death for profit. Mrs. Priest gasped. Potley groaned. Tilda began to cry. Slack stepped closer to Holt. "Is it true?" Holt chuckled, his tone smooth. "Why hide it now?" "Yes. I wrote them. I pinned them. I called the bird. It was beautiful, wasn't it? The fear in their eyes, the whispers, the silence before the cry. A stage, Inspector, and I the master." He lifted the whistle. It gleamed. He blew one sharp note. The raven swooped low. The crowd scattered. Screams rose. Slack drew his stick. "Stand down, Holt." "This ends," Marple's voice cut in. "You enjoyed it, but greed guided you. Ferris gave you motive. You gave her cover. Together you thought yourselves untouchable. But fear leaves traces, always." Ferris pushed forward from the side, her face pale, her eyes wild. "You said no one would know." She pointed at Holt. "You said it would look like fate." Holt sneered. "And it did, until she meddled, until she noticed your towel, your glue, your every slip." Ferris's hands shook. She turned to run. The crowd gasped again. Above them, the raven shrieked. Its cry cut the air sharp. Its wings beat wild. Fear is a weapon. Holt was taken first. Slack bound his hands. The whistle seized. The typewriter carried away. Ferris followed close, her protests loud, her face streaked with sweat. The villagers watched in silence. No pity, only anger. The raven circled above, ignored now. No one fed it. No one cared. Slack declared the matter closed. Both will stand trial. That is all. His tone firm. But his eyes showed fatigue. Even he had felt the weight of fear. The villagers drifted back to their homes, murmurs low, some relief, some dread. The list had broken their peace. The cards had stolen their sleep. Dolly clutched Marple's arm. Her voice hushed. "Do you think the raven was cursed? Its wings always came before another death." Marple shook her head, her voice soft. "Not cursed. Used. A bird seeks food, nothing more. Men gave it meaning. Men gave it theatre." Dolly sighed. "Then it was Holt, always Holt, and Ferris for the poison." Marple's gaze lowered. "Yes, Fear is deadlier than poison. Fear was their true weapon. Each card, each envelope, each call of the raven spread terror faster than any dose. They walked together past the lich gate, the post still marked with grease, the wax still faint in the grain. Signs of planning, signs of manipulation. Potel rang the evening bell with shaking hands. Mrs. Priest locked her post office with care. Tilda wept still, though her name remained alive. The village would not forget soon. Slack stopped Marple as she passed. You saw it before I did. As always. Marple's eyes softened. Because I looked where others would not. Small things speak louder than grand fears, Dolly whispered. Then it's over. We may rest again. Marple's lips pressed. Her eyes turned thoughtful. Over for now. Yet fear leaves marks, and fear may return. The raven croaked once more. It flew high, seeking new ground. The crowd watched it fade into distance. At last, only silence remained. Inside the vicarage, peace seemed near. Mrs. Clement prepared tea. The Reverend read quietly. Marple sat in thought. Her hands folded. Her mind unsettled. Then it came. The sound at the door. A soft scrape. Paper sliding. Mrs. Clement bent to pick it up. Her face froze. Her hands stiffened. She held another card. Black-edged, unsigned, typed. The words simple. No name this time. Only regret. The room chilled. No one spoke. The silence heavier than before. Marple's eyes darkened. Her voice calm, yet heavy with meaning. Fear never ends with one arrest. Someone else feeds it still. The card lay on the table, the edge stark against the wood, a shadow on their hearts once more.